Did you ever think that you were such a good teammate that you deserve extra points for how good of a fucking teammate you were? Well, you are not alone with that thought. Under a video I made recently, somebody suggested that very thing. Well, not exactly that, but we will get into the details in just a second. Hey, what's up guys? This dirty son of a bitch is gonna be on vacation by the time you watch this video here, and today we are going to talk about how a potential reward system could function that incentivizes good team play. So, first and foremost, I would like to highlight the comments that brought up the subject to begin with, coming from WolfieRam and DDB2020. With the subject of the original video focusing on the new report and penalty system, Wolfie wondered, how do we incentivize teamwork rather than just threatening players? To which DDB2020 replied, give us the option to vote for good teammates like we vote for cards, maybe even give rewards for getting a lot of votes. Now, I found this as interesting as I found it basic. Obviously, I did not expect him to leave a lengthy comment that I could just read off as a script for my video, but I decided to elaborate on this idea nonetheless. So how could a system function while minimizing abuse for rewards? The basic idea, in my opinion, should be to make players realize, first and foremost, how their actions are perceived by others. At the end of the game, players should be able to have 2 votes that they can give to another player on their team. 1 upvote for good team play and 1 downvote for poor team play. I do want to reinforce the idea that this is a reward and not a penalty system though. So downvotes should effectively not do anything. They should just be there for the player in question to reflect upon their actions. I mean, if someone consistently gets downvoted for poor team play, maybe and only maybe it starts to make them think about how others perceive their actions. Fact of the matter is also that not everyone who will be worthy of a downvote is necessarily someone that is also worth reporting. So having this as a sort of warning for players to realize that if they get any worse than they are right now, they might actually end up catching some reports. Obviously, if someone's just inherently an asshole, that's not gonna fix anything. They will keep looking for reasons to misbehave and tell themselves that they are in the right, but it might still be a step in the right direction nonetheless, if only for people who are not douchebags at their core. But I do hear your complaints. Just like any other system, this could be abused by aforementioned douchebags by nature and other trolls. Evidence to that is obviously false reports that we hear of these days, as also the fact that players use the avoid player function in much the wrong way to an extent that it was removed entirely. However, again, downvotes don't really do anything. They don't make you more likely to get banned or anything. They're mere opinions essentially. And if you just played a whole competitive match with someone, then you would know whether or not they are a troll anyway, meaning you don't have to put any thought into that vote to begin with. But enough of the downvote system, let's talk about what this is actually about, rewarding players. How could we go about doing something like that? Well, in the comments that I highlighted earlier, a user named Sample had the idea to give players a loot box for every 100 upvotes or so. Now, I don't think that 100 upvotes is really too much to ask for. After all, if this incentivizes players to consistently show themselves from their best side and try to be a good teammate in every sense, then 100 votes really is not that much, given that you have the potential to get 5 votes per game. And let's be honest, we know our community, and in this environment where toxicity is very much omnipresent, sticking out as a good teammate is not necessarily the most difficult task. The problem with this system is that there's no incentive for players to use it, because only the one on the receiving end of the vote really benefits from it. And as for the downvotes, when did humans ever need an incentive to express their dislike? That's not gonna be a problem. So there need to be 2 sides to that coin. I'd say that for every upvote they distribute, players should also get 1 point to a score of 100 that also unlocks a loot box reward. And if other players agree with them, let's say that at least 1 other person added their vote to them, they should get 2 points to that score. That means that just from using it, players will get a loot box for every 100 games played, and if they use it in the right way, meaning they don't just vote randomly, but they vote for players that others also perceive to be good teammates, and they get it twice as fast. But I hear you guys, just a loot box for 50 to 100 games? I think this is where Blizzard should introduce vote exclusive loot boxes that perhaps guarantee at least 1 epic reward, or give players golden loot boxes that guarantee a legendary, like we have seen them distribute for the promotion with Twitch via Amazon Prime. The reward is not supposed to be so significant that players coordinate to abuse it, but also not insignificant enough to have them not give a shit about it. And that is a very tough balance to strike that I reckon Blizzard will be way better at doing than some random guy on YouTube. Speaking of abusing though, players should also not be able to vote for other players who are in their stack, because obviously they would just keep voting for their friends whom they queue with. I did consider an extension to that, which would also not allow to vote for players who are on your friend list, but knowing how few players are actually in GM and top 500 and how a lot of them add each other, I feel like nobody would ever get any votes up there if that was the case. Maybe there could also be different tiers which give players other rewards for hitting the vote cap multiple times, maybe an achievement and spray or something else. Honestly, I know that punishing players who misbehave is a necessity. I absolutely do, and I also agree with it. But hearing how Blizzard regrets even implementing gold guns as a reward for competitive play, sometimes I just feel like we lack incentive on ranked. All that talk about, oh, you should only play ranked if you care about competition. Okay, yes, I get that, but we're still playing a video game at the end of the day. We're not pro players, we're not playing for paychecks. Video games are supposed to be fun and rewarding. And in that sense, I feel like all the talk of punishment, and more punishment with very little reward to the entire experience just does not push players to really give their best and show themselves on the best side. When players who really don't care for competition start playing ranked only to get the rewards, then what of it? They will still be ranked according to their skill level. Who gives a fuck about what they play for? Wouldn't it be smarter to incentivize players to give their very best rather than just threatening them all the time and saying that playing for playing's sake should be motivation enough? I mean, those are just my 2 cents on that, honestly, but this is me done for the day with a quick video on a possible reward system in Overwatch that incentivizes good team play. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to drop me a like on your way if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you want to see more, and I hope to see you all next time.